Hello and welcome back, art friends. In this lesson we're going to look at portraiture and colour. We're going to work in a very loose and playful way and let happy accidents happen, and this is a way I love to work. And we're going to use some exciting materials. So let's go through those materials that you're going to need today. I have my paint brushes. I have a wide paintbrush, some water, a palette, a little bit of paper to test colours on, my watercolours. I have some A4 cartridge paper, which I don't really need, but you can use. And I have a piece of mineral paper. So you'll get this in kit 1. And mineral paper, it's a special type of paper. It's a non-absorbent paper. So normally when you use watercolour paper or cartridge paper, for example, when you paint, the paint gets absorbed into the paper. With this mineral paper, which is sometimes called stone paper, the water doesn't soak in, it sits on top. It does take longer to dry, but you can manipulate it and play with your paint in a different way. Now, if you don't have the mineral paper, or I think it's stone paper as well, you can use just normal paper, so that's fine. But for this purpose, we're going to be using the mineral paper. And of course, you need a picture of yourself or mirror. So if I was in my studio, I actually always use a mirror. I love working off a mirror and have always worked off a mirror. But for today's purposes, I'm going to use a photograph of my iPad. So just to get started, I just want to go over the looseness of how we're going to work. So with your face today, we've got our face shape, but we're going to sort of do open shapes, which means an open shape is when you don't connect all the lines all the way around. So there's my face or my head, and you can see that I haven't drawn it all the way around. If you're having trouble with your nose, now we know the eyes are going to be about halfway. So and the nose is going to be about here. I'm not going to draw the lines, but I'm doing it in my mind. Now, the nose, if you're having trouble, just try a little circle and a little sort of U shape at the bottom. And then the lips will be sort of very loose, and the eyes. And I wear glasses, so I have to put those glasses in. And my hair, I have a fringe, but I'm not going to put all my hair in. So basically that's sort of how the marks I'm going to make when I paint. So it looks very loose. And this is where we're heading. So this is the paper when it's dry, and you can see that the face is, that's what I mean when I say it's open. Okay, so let's get started. First thing I'd like you to do is to activate your watercolours, and we activate watercolour by adding water. So if you have a sprayer, spray it. If you don't have a spray, just drop a bit of water with your brush like this on the colours, and it makes it a lot easier. Okay, I need my paper. And I need that photo reference of myself. So I'm just going to open up my iPad and find a photograph that I took earlier of myself. I like to start with warm colours. So, because the reason why I like to start with warm colours is once you go dark, it's very hard to bring the lights back. So if you start with the light and then you add your darks very slowly and carefully, and you get that lovely play of colour. So I'm going to start with the yellows or golds. I'm just going to put them in my palette, add a bit of water, test it, that's lovely, and I'm going to start with that nose shape. So just nose there, the glasses are going there, lips are going to go there, the chin, And the eyes, let's get some little bit of the eye shape. Now I'm not going to do the glasses till the end. And the face is going to go as a bit of my ear. Okay, so if we look at this, you can see I've made a face map basically. So I've got my nose, my lips, my chin. I could put a bit of my neck here if I want. And my cheeks and my ears. And now I'm going to add to this very gently and carefully. Okay, and when I'm adding to this, I'm also going to keep looking at my photo reference and adjusting those shapes to try to capture the same shapes in my face. Now I'm just going to go to orange. I'm going to add a tiny bit of red into that orange to make it deeper. Add some water. Test it. Okay, so now I'm going to go back around the nose, and my paintbrush is loaded, but I'm going to just use the tip and go really, really carefully and gently. Now if I put a little bit of that, see I just dropped that in, and there it goes into the nose. So I'm going to go around, and the colours, what's called bleeding into each other, or blending, that's what you want to happen. Okay, so the side of my nose here, under my eye again. Okay, under my eye, the top of my eye, a bit of my forehead can be seen. Okay, I'm just maybe a bit there. I'm going to put that top lip in. A bit of the chin, and I'm going to go under the eye. I can't really see much of the ear, but I can see a tiny bit, and the hair. Now you will notice that this, you can see how the paint and the water is sitting on top of the page, so that's will keep it wet, which is beautiful to play with. Okay, I'm going to now go in with my red. And I might start with the glasses because I feel that I need to get that in. So it's quite broad here. I'm going to go down, across. Now these are open shapes, so I don't have to do the whole, an open shape, I don't have to do the whole shape of the glasses. I can leave it open and give the suggestion. And that's what I'm going to do there. Okay, I'm going to go, I'd like some red in those lips. I'm going to drop some red into that orange. And maybe put a little bit down the bottom. Just on one side. A little bit on the chin there. I might do a nostril. And I might put a little bit of red in the eye, in the corners. And, whoops, and up here with the hair. So where it's wet on wet, the colours will run, and where it's not, you get a dry line. See that dry line? And of course, if you want it darker, just go straight into the colour and drop it in darker, and that's where you get to play. So I can make some of these lines a bit darker and just drop in colour in. I'm putting a little bit of blue to make my green a tiny bit darker. And a bit of water. Maybe a tiny bit more blue. Okay, so with this darker colour, that means I can now look at the dark places in my face. So the glasses are dark. I'll drop that into little parts of my glasses. I'm going to go into those nostrils. dark shade around. A bit darker here in the middle. Under the lip. Really small amounts of colour. If I do too much, it will get become a bit muddy and maybe too wet. So I'm really choosing where I want to place things quite carefully. So I'm going in for my eye. Under the eye. Now that's gone a little bit crazy there, and that's okay. If you're finding it's too wet and you want to remove some of the water, clean your brush, squeeze the water out, and then just gently dip that into the place, and that will pick up some of that water. And see, okay. Right, now I'm going to go in with the purple now. So I'm just going to get a nice dark purple. And maybe a bit of blue in that purple. Now I'm just going to take some of the water out of the brush by scraping it on the side and then just dipping the tip in because I don't want my brush too wet. Now I really want to go back into the nostrils, so I'm just going to put a dot. You probably can't see that, no. Top of the lip. Shadow under here, so I might add some of the purple. If you see what I'm doing, I'm just dropping the paint in with the tip of my brush, really gentle. Now I'm going to just do a little bit of shadow down the side. Now if you want a colour to be richer, say if I want a richer colour there, you can go straight into the paint and drop it in. So and this is where you get to have a little play. Okay, so I'm just going to drop a little bit of black into the glasses and around my eyes, and then I'm going to call that finished. So just load up a bit of black. Okay. Normally I might drop some into the nose, but I think it's too wet, and I've got a really beautiful little shape, like a natural nose shape with the yellow and green, which I love. I always go in to the eyes, try and get that a bit darker. Oh, maybe, should I? I'll do one little drop on this side. Yeah. And maybe just a little drop there. Okay, I'm finished now, so I'm just going to leave that. I love the white coming through and the open shapes and the suggestion of my face, because a portrait, it's not a photograph, it is a painting. It doesn't have to look exactly like you. It's nice, I think, when it's got something a little bit abstract about it. Okay, so if you look at this, you've got the beautiful colours playing together, and now you just leave that to dry. So what I would like you to do now is to have a play with your mineral paper and play with just dropping the paints in and just working from your lights and your brights to your darker colour, looking for those shapes that you can identify easily, and just enjoying yourself. Go nice and slow and don't be hard on yourself. And what I mean by that is sometimes I do a portrait many times. It can be hit and miss. Sometimes I love them, sometimes they don't work, but it's the process and the playfulness is the learning part. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next lesson.